everyone, this is Solomon of Solomonic Demons, and what you guys hear on the mix of the intro was my GIbson Les Paul Classic versus my Harley Benton SC 552, also called the Harley Benton SL Tribute. Now, in the past I made a video where I did compare my Harley Benton SC 552 with my Epiphone Slash signature guitar. Now, in that video I got to the conclusion that I do prefer the Harley Benton SC 552, even if the Slash Epiphone was a better tribute to the original Gibson Les Paul Slash. Now, I did say in that video that I do prefer more the Harley Benton SC 552 because the guitar feels a little bit better in terms of craftsmanship, in terms of quality, and also because this guitar have more like a 60s profile neck, more a modern profile neck, if we compare it with the Epiphone Slash that do have something closer to what it is the real deal of the Gibson Les Paul Slash, that it is a 50s neck. Well, that was the Epiphone Les Paul Slash versus the Harley Benton SC 552. But this video is about the Gibson Les Paul Classic versus the Harley Benton SC 552. But anyways, in this video, I won't call it a competition. What we're gonna look is how close this guitar gets to this one, how different really they are. Alright guys, so right away, as you guys can see, the guitars look very similar, and the only visual difference that actually cannot be add, because honestly a pickguard can be just put on this guitar, and I won't say that the pickguard is a difference because that's something that just can be add, but a visual difference that you can spot right away is the way that the guitar is constructed here in the horn, and here in the Gibson it has set like this, more like a curve, and here in the Harley Benton it is a little bit more like a hole, and this one is different. They really look different in that spot. Also the headstock, obviously we have the open book headstock from Gibson here, and here we have the Harley Benton approach to that headstock. Same thing with the tuners, that's something that just can be changed, but a lot of Gibson use that Gibson Deluxe style tuners instead of the Grover that the Classic have in this one, right? But yet that's the only visual aspects that I can spot looking through the guitars, and that are visual. Now we're gonna go to the specs, and that's where things get really interesting if we compare these two guitars, right? First, how the guitars are constructed. Well, both of them have a mahogany body, the Harley Benton and the Gibson. And now the Harley Benton have a quadruple maple top, quadruple figured maple top, and the Gibson have a maple top on it. It doesn't have any kind of figure, it's just a maple top on it, and actually it looks really cool, and because I think that is the way that the guitar is painted, and that's another difference that these guitars have, that is that the Gibson use nitrocellulose for the painting of their guitars, and in the Harley Benton we have a poly finish, and so obviously the nitro gonna stand different, it gonna age different, and yep, that's another difference that the guitars have. Now we have the same looking knobs. Now I did add these knobs to the guitar, and the other finishes of the knobs were a little bit different, but both of the guitars have two volumes, both of the guitars have two tones. Now if we open the back, we're gonna see that the Harley Benton comes with CTS pots, and the Gibson comes with Gibson branded pots. Both of them are really high quality pots, but that's also a difference in terms of construction, right? Now, in the Gibson Les Paul Classic, we have an ABR bridge, and this bridge feels really cool, feels really good. It is the real deal, it is real steel. I really like the way that the ABR bridges are made, but also the Harley Benton branded bridge. It is a really good bridge. I really like the way that this bridge feels. It is made from steel. I can recall that it is a heavy bridge, and even if it is not a branded bridge, like I said, it is well constructed. It is well done. We have three-way switch, and obviously the Gibson Les Paul Classic also have a three-way switch. Both of the switches feel good, you know. These switches are very sensible actually in any LP style single coil guitar that you use, you know, depending the way you store the guitar, they are tending, they sometimes the tip of the switch tends to break. So that's just my opinion, you know. I never have seen big difference between these kind of switches, and I think that the one that Harley Benton uses is a good quality switch, and obviously the Gibson use really good stuff. So now, let's go to the neck, right? This is where things get really interesting because these guitars feel really, really close on the neck. The way that this guitar feels are very close. Now, the Gibson Les Paul Classic is a 60s neck. And like I said, the Harley Benton also feels like a 60s neck, and I really like it. It might be a little bit more like ESP Eclipse neck, but I won't call it that close because it has the essence of the 60s neck of Gibson Les Paul. So the Harley Benton have their own feeling. And now, as you guys can appreciate, the binding on the neck on this guitar, it is not over the fret if we compare it with the binding that are on the Gibson. Those are over the fret bindings. I really like those, but the Gibson have nickel frets on the fretboard with a rosewood fretboard, and the Harley Benton have stainless steel frets on a Pau Ferro fretboard. Now in the bodies of the guitars, the binding actually look really similar. Now the bodies, I will say that the Gibson is just a little bit thicker, a fraction thicker, if we compare it with the Harley Benton. And honestly, if you guys can see the binding on the Harley Benton, it doesn't have anything to envy to the binding on the body of the Gibson Les Paul Classic. Like I said, in the neck is different because the neck had that over the fret binding in the neck, and the Harley Benton doesn't. The pickups on the Harley Benton are Tesla pickups, and in the Gibson Les Paul Classic we have two Bursbucker pickups, one Bursbucker on the bridge and one Bursbucker 2 on the neck. I do like the Harley Benton Tesla pickups, but I do prefer indeed the Gibson Les Paul Classic Zebra pickups. And now in the mix that I did in the intro, I think that the Harley Benton SC550 it did a better job, and the Tesla pickups actually did a better job because that song was more a metal song intended, but honestly, the neck pickup for the clean for me it sounds better with the Gibson Les Paul Classic. And if you use the right tools, the right boost and everything, that bridge pickup can sound a little bit better also in the Gibson Les Paul Classic. But like I said, in the mix, for me overall, the Tesla pickups actually made a better job, but that was because that was a kind of heavy sound, or at least heavy 80s intended. All right, now we're gonna go to the back to the guitars, so I can show you guys the difference on why we get this difference in the body construction, because that is the massive difference that can be spotted in these two guitars. All right, and that's the back of the guitars. Now the plastic on the Harley Benton feels really good. That's something that I emphasize in my comparison video with the Epiphone Les Paul slash standard. I think that Epiphone still using very crappy plastic stuff. Same thing with the bridge of the Epiphone, it was really bad. And obviously the Gibson have quality stuff. So like I said, with Gibson, it is the real deal. Now the finish on the mahogany body in the back, where we can appreciate it a little bit more, it is more grainy in the body of the Gibson. You can really see the wood grain on the Gibson. You cannot see that much in the body of the Harley Benton. It's not that grainy, but it says that it's mahogany. It looks and feels like mahogany. Now this was one of the first batches of this guitar, and this one says SC550L tribute on the neck, so this one comes with mahogany. I know that the new ones, that with the new model number on the headstock, the one that is SC552 GOTOH, those come with a Meranti body, but this one, it is a mahogany body. Now, once again, this is the biggest difference of these two guitars, and it is the way of the union of the neck to the body, the sec neck construction of these guitars. In the Harley Benton, we have this kind of diagonal union where the neck meets the body, and it actually enters like this. You guys can see it. And if we compare it with the Gibson, it is more a traditional way of do a set neck guitar. Now, the Harley Benton, it is a chamber body, and since this is a Gibson Les Paul Classic, it is also a chamber body, so it has a weight relief. Both of these guitars come with weight relief. I do prefer Gibsons with weight relief. Same thing, very grainy neck on the mahogany of the Gibson, and not as much grainy in the Harley Benton. Maybe it is because the finish on the back of the body of the Harley Benton, it is a little darker. So something that we gotta add is that the Harley Benton has a volute in the headstock, and that is very good because this will be a very good mechanism of defense in case if we want to prevent any kind of headstock repair in the future. And yep, it is very good that this guitar comes with a volute. You guys can see that the Gibson doesn't have the volute there. So yep, Harley Benton wins in that spot. And the last thing we're gonna check are the tuners. The Harley Benton comes with a set of GOTOH tuners, and in the Gibson we have some rubber tuners. Alright guys, so my conclusion about the differences about how close the Harley Benton feels if we compare it to the Gibson Les Paul Classic to the real deal, let's call it that way. Well, the Gibson does feel a little bit more expensive and does feel a little bit more a high quality instrument. Also comes with a case, but the Harley Benton is only $400. Now obviously the Harley Benton is made in Indonesia, at least this specimen, and the Gibson Les Paul Classic is made here in the USA. but the Gibson Les Paul Classic is $2,200. So if this one is 400 and this one is 2,200, the Gibson is 5 times more expensive of what the Harley Benton is. Now the question it is, in craftsmanship, in construction, is this really 5 times more expensive than this? I don't think that. And I think that the Harley Benton really feels close to this guitar. You know, if I close my eyes and if I'm playing the Harley Benton, and then you guys swap it to the Gibson, I won't feel too much the difference. Actually, when I was mixing these videos, these intros that I did, it was really hard for me to identify which mix was for each guitar. Obviously both mixes had names, but that was the way that I was identifying which was which mix. In the electronics, in the pickups, there is not too much tonal difference to say, oh no, it's really 5 times more expensive. Now it comes with the personal thing, you know, and this is about me, you know, on the channel when I bought this guitar, that I always wanted to have a Gibson Les Paul. I did have a Gibson Les Paul Studio, I did have a Gibson Les Paul Tribute, but even if those guitars felt, obviously those guitars were downgrades if we compare it to the Classic, you know. When I bought this guitar, I've been in that state of honeymoon with this guitar since the moment that I bought it, and I have it for almost 2 years. And it is because I always wanted to have a Gibson Les Paul, you know, and I do have it. And now the Harley Benton, for me, it is special too, because this proved me that I was wrong in some aspect, in some ideological states on my mind that I used to have, thinking that instruments made in Indonesia weren't that well crafted. You know, this proved me that I'm wrong. This proved me that Indonesia has evolved a lot in the quality of their instruments, and with amazing specifications at a really low price. And I also have been in that honeymoon state with this guitar since I bought it. Anyway, this was just my opinion. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care and bye.